Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a while. Welcome to our exclusive All Ontario CYBL Today pod. Come on, we've got our guests Alan, Aidan, and Adriel on the pod. How you guys feeling today?
I'm good.
Yeah, man, exciting.
Good. Feeling a little bit under the weather, but you know what?
No.
He's coming up, so I'm hyped, bro. I'm hyped.
Hey, let's go, man. We gonna pray for you, bro. Don't worry, we gonna pray for you. But real talk, this pod right here is probably our most anticipated podcast that we've had to this point because there is so much going on.
Oh, yeah.
As you can see, I'd like to welcome our special guest, Aidan Stockton. You got him here on the pod.
Yeah.
Come on. 3-time MVP, 2-time champion, 4-time, what's it called? Not John Stockton, the other one.
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell, 3-time.
Bill Russell, 4-time MVP.
Oh my goodness. Wow. He corrected me. He corrected me. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I just know he's got a lot of accolades. That's all I know.
Was well established. He's well established.
Yes. And so later on this pod, we're going to have an interview for you, Aidan. But we want to hit some big things coming up. As you know, we've got the OCC tomorrow starting at 5 p.m. And we just want to go over, what's happened this season, what's happened this playoffs, should I say, and just recap the playoffs and the road to get to the OCC and what that was like. So let's start off just by saying, what are some things that for you guys were highlighted that were standouts to you this playoffs, whether if you're in the Central Conference, Eastern Conference, what are some things for you guys? Alan, you can start.
Oh, man. It's hard. I mean, we definitely, with the 10 teams over here, man, it is a deep playoff run now. It's not like you can't, it's looking at it, you just think like, how are we even going to make it to the OCC? You got to be the top 2, right? So unfortunately, we didn't make it, but I do think both the teams that are there played well all season long, and I think that they were both deserving. I didn't see either of them as underdogs. I obviously didn't predict that ending, but you did
though.
Yeah, you had the whole thing, man. You had the whole thing. No, I think they were both deserving, and then for the Sharks, your guys' end, that was a gutsy win at the end against you, right? Like that was huge, man, to pull that out at the end. They've placed themselves in a good position, but I mean, not really. I mean, who wants to play the Warriors in the first round of the OCC, right? So, oh man, it was a good run. I'm happy for all the teams going, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, that's awesome. To be honest, any team that you play right now, it's like these are the top of the top.
Exactly.
So this is like so every game right now is a whole other level of intensity.
Yep.
So Adriel, you're next up.
Honestly, I'd say for me, on our end, CYBL Kingston, I'd say it is the teams that make it, and particularly the Sharks, because when you look at where we started in the season, the standings, the win-loss ratios and all that, they were bottom. They were like bottom team, but
it's true.
The comeback they made to make it to first, I'd say for me going into this playoffs, I'm keeping my eye on the Sharks. I'm keeping my eye on the Sharks and praying that hopefully they win it all. They win it all. Okay.
Yeah. Now you, Aidan, as being a player, I want to get your perspective on this road to the OCC and what that felt like for you. Obviously, you didn't get over the hump there, but like from a player's perspective, what was that experience like for you?
It's crazy considering we have so many teams within our conference. So, we didn't start off too hot, which kind of didn't go so well. But the strikers, like, they surprised me, honestly. Braden came, kind of Nathan, too. It kind of sucks that they didn't make it. I kind of wish they did, but what could you do? I feel like the Warriors also have a good chance. Their defense is amazing. That press kills. I can't when we play against them. But from a player's perspective, it's hard. Like you have to go through a bunch of teams, and you got to go game by game now since there's so many teams.
That's so true. And I like that, even that perspective where it's like game by game. I think
Yeah,
that's something that has to be highlighted. It's just like, sometimes you can get overwhelmed by the bracket and
exactly.
knowing and knowing
Yeah.
where you've got to make it to. But like when you take it game by game, it's like, okay, let me focus on
Hmm.
how I'm going to overcome this matchup right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So exactly, man. And so I think even going into the OCC, like that's what these four teams are going to have to look at. Like we
Hmm.
talked about the Warriors, their defense, I look at them, I see the Warriors as like this team that are like they're dogs.
Wait.
Like there are dogs. They're fighting for everything. Like the loose balls, their defense is on a whole other level, and that for me,
Hmm.
their
Hmm.
scrappiness is what's really going to give them like an edge, I think,
Yeah,
Hmm.
that
going
hustle.
into this.
Mm.
Yeah, because everybody is involved. Everybody's involved.
Yeah.
And then so when I look at then the strikers are another team I look at and I'd be like, well, this is a team that you can see the camaraderie, the chemistry is coming together,
Hmm.
and the leader Braden has really been one to really kind of like he's would stick them all together.
Yeah.
He was that player to do that, and now you can see how each and every one of their strengths are highlighted now
Hmm.
because of that, right? You go over to the Eastern where everything's brand new, so you have nothing to compare it against,
Hmm.
right? And so you look at, like, for instance, my team, the Royals, which I would say is a team as well that quickly we built chemistry over the season. It took only a few games, and now we're at a point where you could say that like everybody understands their role, understands their position. And when you have an anchor of a captain like Caleb, who I think is, he's 6'3", he's agile, he can dribble, he can shoot, he can do a bunch of things and get his team involved. I think it's going to be a real battle. And then obviously you got the Sharks. Looking at the
Hmm.
Sharks and looking at how, man, they're hungry. They're a hungry team. They've got they're a hungry team. I feel like they're also a team. They're kind of like they have the potential to develop into the worst. That's why I think that matchup's actually going to be good. I think that's going to be a really good
Let's see.
because of how the Sharks are and how scrappy they are as well. And they got some young stars too. Like we just had he's now the youngest CYBL player of all time to win an MVP award. He's
Mm.
in grade 8, and the way that he played is exceptional. So I'm excited to see what these teams bring to the table. Yeah. And so here's my thing. Here's my thing what I want to bring up before we go into the second segment. A few questions for us here. First question is, what would you say, was some of the most impressive performances of the playoff?
Who you starting with?
I'm gonna start with Adriel. You can go.
Most impressive performances. I mean, just to kind of continue from where you started with Colton, like his performance during the playoffs was insane, man. He's not the tallest of them, but just the passion that he has for the game, he got that dog in him for lack of a
They
better,
got that
like
yeah.
doing everything that he needs to do, and honestly, just the Sharks as a whole, they're like, as you said, they started off not the best, but they've pulled themselves together with Coach Alvin and Coach Stefano, and
Mm-hmm.
they put themselves in a great position, right? In a great position. I was also impressed by the Royals as well, like in the playoff. I think, my opinion, I think you guys have the best defense in Kingston. I mean, whether
Yeah.
in CYBL in general, we'll see tomorrow, but yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's good. I like that. I think that, yeah, again, the Sharks are a team. I think also Pierce has ability to be a leader. So like watching him develop too, and then Dane, who's like he won the David Award in the Eastern Conference. He's short, but man, he can shoot that ball, man. His
Mm.
arc is like this rainbow shot. It's crazy.
Mm.
I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Aiden, for you, what were some of those performances for you that you'd say were memorable or impressive this playoffs?
I think the Strikers' whole run, honestly. I
Yeah.
don't really remember who they played in the first round, but they played the Flames right after us. Nathan and the Flames. They're a really good team. They've been dominating for how long, and they just took them out. So
Yeah.
it kind
Hmm.
of like surprised me a lot that the Flames lost that game because how good they've been. But and then they obviously won the championship against the Warriors. So
Mm.
that whole
Mm-hmm.
run was just crazy to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you. I think in the Central Conference, that was
Hmm.
probably the most unexpected outcome that we could have
Oh,
seen
yeah.
because none of our number one seeds made it to the finals.
Hmm.
And they were both
Like that.
undefeated.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy. They were
Yeah,
both undefeated.
the
That's
Flames went
crazy.
undefeated, and they beat
The
us first
Lions,
round, and then the Strikers came out, just swooped it away from them.
Yeah.
man, yeah,
Crazy.
it is wild. And it's impressive. And I think it shows you, I think it's also a testament to how the league has grown and the balance that you're seeing between talent that's
Hmm.
taking place. It's like teams can knock off a number one seed even if they're undefeated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have expected that go back a few seasons. That wasn't something that you would have seen. So
Hmm.
that's pretty impressive. Alan, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Ashton led with a lot of leadership on the Warriors. Like I think I saw a lot of composure in him, and like even when they were down, that was the thing that kept kind of getting me. Like he wasn't allowing that to get to him. I've seen things get to him in the past, but I think he played with a lot of composure. And sometimes that happens, right? When you're a bit of a scrappier team, when you're a bit of a hustle team, kind of like my team actually. You know, we're not too scrappy, but we're very like hustle oriented. You get over passionate, and you start, you allow like calls from the ref to get to you, and you allow different things to annoy you, and just not it knocks you off your game. And I think he didn't do that, and that's what allowed them to get as far as they did. And I think, that Riley's a big part of that team, because
Yeah.
really they're rebounding. Like they don't have too many tall guys, but Riley really gets up, and so I think he did a great job at being
Hmm.
and so I think they need to keep their heads in it if they want to, if they want to go all the way. That's going to be key for them. And then same with the Strikers. I mean, Kai, it's unfortunate to hear that he won't be with us this
Yeah.
playoffs, but I mean, he was for them, like he was just steady back there. Like he was killing it on rebounds. He was getting, a fair amount of points. So he stood out for me on them actually. Like Braden, I expect, you expect the star players to be the star players, but Kai really stepped it up a whole nother level in the playoffs. And I think that
Mhm.
was the difference for them to progress past the Flames and to beat the Warriors, right? So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know there's a bunch of changes to a bunch of teams coming into the playoffs, so it's going to be interesting.
Going to be really interesting because we also have a few replacement players in the Eastern Conference just because of some absences. So we have like Isaac, who was on the Tides, and he was one of the runners up for MVP. He's stepping in for Tristan, who was
Mm-hmm.
on the Royals, and that's a good move, I think. And then you also have Safe, who's going to be stepping in for Dominic on the Sharks. So there's going to be a few changes, and that means matchup changes. That means things are going to look a little different. And I think when you talk about like injuries
Mm-hmm.
and Kai being out, that's also going to be they're going to have to now change their game plan to how they're going to operate against our team, the Royals, because that's
Mm-hmm.
going to look different. And so, all that to say, that brings us into the next part of our segment, which is we're going to talk about some of the matchups. So we're going to do a matchup breakdown, guys. We've got we're going to start off with the first matchup of the night. So the first OCC semifinal matchup, you could say, is between the Warriors and the Sharks. I want you to talk about this. Let's talk about the styles of both of the teams. What is the contrast of the styles between the way that they play with each other, the way they play off each other, and who are some key players to watch going into that game? With let's start off with Coach Allen.
Man, so we're naming some key players that we're
Mm-hmm.
watching, and just what kind of our prediction of that game, how it's going to go.
Yeah,
Is that, yeah?
yeah,
Okay. Man, the Warriors just they're so deep, man. I don't know. Honestly, they can do whatever they so choose, right? They've got Noah Trottier, they've got goodness, they've got so many guys. I can't even think about their names right now, but they've got shooters, they've got guys who can drive the lane, like, and it's just um it's just so deep that I think the hard part the Sharks are gonna have against them is trying to match up the depth. And
mm,
then let alone like the fact that they have so many subs, right? So
true.
there's
That's a
that
difference.
like, and they are a team like like Aidan mentioned before, their defense, their trap defense, they never stop running. They don't stop. And even if they did get tired, they'll just sub off the whole line and keep going and keep going.
I forgot to mention something important here.
Okay.
This is actually very important. There are two players that aren't going to be there for the Warriors.
Okay.
So we have Diego, who's not going to be there, little Diego, and then you have one of their centers. I can't remember his first name. Collier is his last.
Lincoln
Lincoln
Kohler.
Collier.
Yeah.
Lincoln Kohler.
Yeah.
So so those two players aren't going to be there. So that brings him down to 8. So a little more balance when you think about players.
Balance. Yeah.
A little bit more balance.
Yeah, but they are still, even then, I still think even those guys, they're all fit, they're ready to go. Yeah, Bradley Allen, that's who I was thinking of. He's, Riley, like they're just such a deep team. So I think for me, that is going to be the fight that the Sharks are going to have to work on, right? They're going to have to move the ball. They can't try and run through it. They're going to have to just move it, stay patient. So I think on their end, they're going to have to weather that storm. And if they can do that, without getting too much into a deficit there, I think they have a chance. I think they can play well together, and they've got some talent. They've got some shooters on their team. So I think they've just got to take their time, right? They can't press too hard against them. They've got to feel out the game, feel the difference in speed that's going to come at them. I think they need to take it slow is how I'd see it for them. They shouldn't come out guns a-blazing because I don't think it's going to work in their favor.
Yes. Now let's take it to the East. Adriel, what is your thoughts when you think about the contrast between these two teams and key players that can shift the outcome of this game? What are your thoughts here?
My thoughts, it's so funny because while Coach Allen was explaining the Warriors, it sounds a bit like the Sharks in the way that they also have a press that they do basically all game, depending on where they're at. They have that press, and it works, man. Like, speaking from experience, it works. And so the Sharks in itself, they're more a team-based team. They rely on each other. There's no one star that gets majority of the points, but everyone in itself, they work together in order to get the W. And you see in most of their games, most of their points they get their points by fast breaks. Whether it's someone gets the rebounds, Colton is already in the other end, just toss it to him, and he just
That's how they beat us.
I'm sorry.
It hurts.
It happens. But I think what I would like to see is for them, like Alan said, on the eastern side, for the Sharks, I would like to see them slow down the game, because at the start of the game, we could already tell it's going to be intense. It's going to be press, be all over the court. So it might get a little bit messy, but it would be interesting to see either teams kind of slow it down a bit and to see how the other team reacts to that slowed pace and such. But yeah, I think Colton and Pierce and the others, they would have to put their weight in. They have to do their job. Everyone has a specific job. The shooters are going to have to shoot. The rebounders are going to have to box out. Everyone's going to be needed in order to come out with this W, because the Warriors, they're a tough team. I mean, look what they did, right? It's like, you can't underestimate them. You just have to put your best foot forward. And as Coach Stefan is going to be there, he's going to be ready. He's going to have to be ready to adapt to whatever comes his way in order to get.
That's good. Aidan, now from a player's perspective, what would you say?
Wow.
What is the key here in order to come out with the victory in this next game? What are some things they have to look out for as well?
Well, it's the Sharks, right? It's the other team. If I was the Sharks, I would at the start of the game, I would just feel out the Warriors, because they've never seen a team like that yet, right? So I would just slowly feel out that defense, how aggressive they are, where their weak spots are, and really, once you read it a little bit, really attack those weak spots.
Yeah.
Either get to the rim, mid-range, whatever, just so it'll make it easier if you are able to see where those spots are. If I was the Warriors, I'd really lean on Ashton and Riley to kind of lead that on if other players aren't contributing as much. Riley, he's great rebounder. He can really get into the paint and get those offensive rebounds and those layups. Ashton's a great leader. He can run the offense. He knows how to read a defense, how to get through. His mid-range is killer. Like
Yeah,
he
it
can
is.
he can knock those down. But yeah, Sharks, they just gotta slow the game down. Don't let the Warriors judge like make the pace, you know?
Yeah.
I like that. That seems to be the common theme across all of us
Mm-hmm.
is saying that they're going to have to slow the game down because really they have to be able to study the other
Yeah, they
teams.
have to.
Yeah.
There's no other way. They've never come across this before, and they're a new team. And so in order to get the edge, you have to slow the game down. And I think that is going to have to be Coach Stefano's, that's going to have to be his challenge, is to get his team in all of the excitement, in all of the adrenaline, in all of the
Yes.
energy
Yeah.
in the arena
It's gonna
to
be
be
tough.
able to like slow it down. You know what I mean?
Gonna be a good
Um,
game though.
It's going to
Yeah.
be a great game. It's
Sure.
going to be, I'm excited. One of the things that we've been talking about Riley, but man, he's incredible, man. He like I rewatched the Central Conference Finals and I saw that one block that he got, that clutch block,
Mm-hmm.
that finish would have ended the game right there. That would have been done. He literally got up so high. I don't think I've ever seen him get up that high, and he swatted that thing into like the next continent. Like that is one of my favorite highlights. I think I rewatched that probably like 3 4 times. But yeah, definitely I think those are some great takes on that first matchup. Moving on to matchup number 2 now. We're going to talk about same questions here. We've got the Strikers and the Royals. All right. What is going to be the X factor for these teams? And as a coach, if you're a coach, what would you do to try to strategize in order to get over the hump and get the edge in this game? Let's start with you, Coach Adrian. You can start this one.
Adrian.
Hey.
Adriel. I'm
My
sorry,
name.
bro.
It's a,
I'm sorry, bro. There's too many A's. There's too many A's, yo. It's
oh
messing
my
with me.
goodness.
It's all good.
But yeah, I think on the Kingston side of things, to answer your question, the Royals, they're a very defensive heavy team, right? They have the defensive MVP Caleb, who's 6'3", who you feel his presence in the on the court, right? Whether it's on the 3-point line or whether it's in the paint itself, you can feel his presence, and I feel like the Royals, along with not only Caleb but David as well, they need to rely heavy on Caleb and David because they are able to, they're able to play aggressive but clean in a sense, right? Putting bodies on people, not giving them any easy buckets or whatever. Even Caleb too, with all the blocks that he's had, he has to show up in that way for the Royals in order to give them that edge, right? And I think the same thing we said with the Sharks is the same thing applies to the Royals as well. Team, I mean, Daniel, you probably seen that team play before, so you have a kind of
Yep.
a know-how of what to do,
Yeah.
how to approach it. But I feel like the players themselves, they've never seen that team, so in a sense, they would have to slow the game down a bit, at least for the first half. Feel out your opponent, feel out what they do, the weaknesses, strengths, stuff that you can do in order to capitalize on that and bring your team to W. Yeah, and as a coach yourself, you're gonna have to adjust wherever you see fit, like switch out players, give players key things of what to do, how to guard them, and I think that it's so crazy because every team in this playoffs is able to come out with the W. It's just a matter of who shows up that day. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, I think the Royals, with the inexperienced coach and whatnot, they're gonna
Inexperienced coach. That's crazy.
they're gonna really have to help their coach out. No, I kidding. But no, I think there's a few things, right? And the Warriors were able to do it, and I think I would exploit the same pattern that they did, and they almost had the win against them. You have to get Braden off his game, right? And then once you get Braden off his game, which that's hard enough because if he starts hitting his shots, it's over, right? Like that's done.
Wow.
Like he can hit from anywhere. He's like Nathan when he's hitting, right? And we saw that when we played them in our division. Like he just kept hitting everything, and it didn't matter. We were full court pressing, we were doing everything, and it just wasn't. He would play under that kind of pressure. It didn't matter. So if you get him off early, I find that was successful. But then you got to watch out because they've got a lot of other shooters. River is a fantastic shooter, man. And so I think the thing is, whoever's guarding, whether you're doing man on man, whatever you're doing, they've got to get him off his game, but then they can't just let the other guys go either, right? There's got to be that awareness. So I think defensively is where you guys will win the game, but then obviously offensively, I think I look at it and I go, you guys have to rely on your center, Caleb, right? You have to. They are lacking in the middle right now without Kai. That is where for you guys, like, you just got to keep feeding it down low, and he can finish. He's good there. I think that would be my strategy. Was Kai out, would just be feed the center, and then as soon as they catch on to that, you just go to shooting, right? And then he's a great rebounder. So, and I think for the strikers, I mean, when I look at the strikers and the Warriors, I give them the edge already. So for me, it's not a way of like, oh, how are they going to find a way to win? No, it's how is the Eastern Conference going to find a way to beat these two giants? These teams are absolute, like, I don't even know, like, they're for you guys, they're giants. That's all I can say. They're incredible teams with a ton of talent all the way up and down that line. Like, we didn't even mention Adamo yet. We didn't mention River. River I did, but like Sanjay, they just have other guys that are all contributing. So they're full teams. They're stacked, and so yeah, I think for you guys, yeah, there's just defensively trying to get them off their game, and then offensively feed that center.
That's good. That's good. And again, I'll get you, Aidan, on this. Give us your perspective from a player for the keys on both sides for these two teams.
Well, for the strikers, since they're missing their big, I think they have to work as a team. Some other guys who, don't usually step up, they need to play big because you're missing a key player. That's going to be rough, especially Braden. He's going to have to really help a lot more on those rebounding now, since he doesn't have to, their big's gone. It's pretty much their only problem. Their defense is good. Yeah, if as the Royals, yeah,
yeah.
if they might have to double team Braden. If he's hitting, you might have to double team him the whole game and just guard the shooters and leave the big kind of down lower in the corner. But yeah, it's for the Royals. Sorry. Yeah, you gotta attack the paint. Going off from what Coach Allen said, you have to. They don't have that big inside. It'll probably most likely be Braden on the inside, but he's not like I guess he's on like the bigger side. He's more muscular, but he's not as tall, right? And, you have that 6'3" big man who, he could just easy layup over him every time, offensive rebound. So Braden's gonna really have to step up on rebounding. Same with everybody else.
Yeah. No, that's good. Good takes, guys. Real quick, from each of you, I want 10 seconds on your pick and why. Your pick to win the OCC and why, before we move on to the next segment. Let's start with Aidan.
To win the OCC, I think the Warriors, honestly. They have a really good chance. Their defense is great. Their chemistry is top, probably in the league, besides maybe the Flames. But, they're not here, so... But, yeah, the Warriors definitely are my top pick right now.
All right. Let's go to you, Adriel.
I'd say, coming from Kingston, I got to go with the Kingstonian team. Come on. I call it the Sharks.
Always call the Sharks.
Wow.
Call the Sharks.
It happens. Yes. But yeah.
Championship rings on the line, guys.
Yo.
Championship rings.
Man.
Well, just because they're like the underdogs of underdogs, right? I mean, they won the championship, but looking at the season, it's crazy. And if they were to win the OCC, that would be a wild run.
That would be some sort of Cinderella story that we've never seen. That would be next level, because the fact that they've come from where they were, they literally were at the bottom of the standings, lost 3 in a row to start off this season, to then come back the Eastern Conference, and then to come into this and to upset the Warriors. That'd be something else. Alan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going Warriors too. Yeah, it's you know what? I think the thing is that we can't underestimate is Ashton. The fact that the guy hasn't won it yet. This is really his second last chance, right? Like, and his only chance for the OCC. But like, next season's his last season in the CYBL. I think we're going to see some pretty amazing performances from him throughout.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, he's a clutch player. You and me, Alan, we talked about this, but when we looked at Ashton, we saw like he had essentially like almost a whole year of injury, going
Mm-hmm.
back into his grade 11 year at CYBL. He was injured, like essentially his ankle just was not. He wasn't giving him what he needed. He struggled. Then he got to that point where he got to the finals, played the Flames, and then they fell short. And then yeah, again now they played. Now that he's healthy, he's fully healthy. The last 2 seasons, I guess, been fully healthy, fully established again. Makes it to the finals and loses by 2 points in overtime. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So like
Wow.
such integrity with
Mm-hmm.
such like with such like value for every player on his team. And
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a player with this kind of character before
Mm-hmm.
in our league. It's impressive to see, and to see him be at that talent level in that pool where he's always like an MVP candidate, but just not
Mm-hmm.
getting over the hump with his team and
Mm-hmm.
winning. I think that this OCC right here could be an eclipse for him, where
Yeah.
everything kind of just aligns, and that would be beautiful to watch. I can't
Yeah.
lie. I can't lie. That would be beautiful to see. Obviously, I can't count out my Royals because even though we're new, I can tell you what, I got a lot of things on my sleeve, and and we're gonna pull all of them out, all of them out.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Yeah, yeah. At the very least, we're making it to the OCC finals. At the
There you
very
go.
least,
There you go.
yeah. So
Still,
going in, we're almost done, guys. But right now, since we got our special guest Aidan on the pod, we have to interview Aidan. All right. So everyone else, just sit back. This is Aidan's part of the show here. We're gonna interview Aidan. We got a few questions for you, bro. Yeah, we just want to get your perspective as, to be honest, I think in a lot of people's minds, the greatest of all time in CYBL at this point. We want to get your thoughts on a few things, bro. So, first question for you that I got is, when you look back at your CYBL career, what's your favorite memory so far?
Probably winning that first championship, man. That was a run to remember with that group of guys. We had a very well-rounded team that season. Good chemistry, very fun to play with.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that first chip's always it's always gonna be there.
Yeah, I could only imagine too, especially coming from a place where, in your first season, your rookie season, you played with one of your best friends, Liam, on my team, and we made it to the finals, but we couldn't get over the hump against those Knights. So that definitely probably felt really good, bro. I could imagine. Second question for you here. We're gonna take a different angle with this one, but since being in this league and being in CYBL, tell me a little bit about how that's actually shaped your faith and being a part of this league and your journey.
Well, first joining the league, I wasn't really like too heavy on, like my faith and where I stood with God. But as I got, closer with everybody in the league, closer with Alan, closer with you, it kind of, reshaped how I see things and, kind of helped me like open my eyes a little bit, I guess you could see. But
Mm-hmm.
my faith is definitely, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's definitely helped me through certain spots throughout these last couple years with you guys. But yeah.
that's amazing. That's amazing, man. And
Coach
that's what
Daniel,
really,
can I come in with a
yeah,
spontaneous question?
of course, of course.
Because Aidan said that first run, the first championship was his favorite memory, and then we're talking about faith. I have to say, like, can you share that testimony of like, because we didn't have a run. There was not going to be a run unless God came in that moment before. Because for those who don't know, Aidan got injured. Daniel and I had a podcast literally that night
It's
after
so
Aidan
true.
got injured. And guys, I had no faith. I'll tell you, I'll be honest. Like I lost all faith in that moment. I was in complete depression in my mind because I'm thinking like, what is
no.
going on? Like we're set to win the thing. We had only had one loss the whole season. I'm thinking that this is it. We've got this season, right? And Aidan gets injured at practice 2 days before the game, right? So Aidan, you can take it away from there, but because it kind of intertwines with your faith and with that your favorite memory, which is that run. I thought it'd be cool if you could share that.
Yeah, so as some people might know, I had some serious ankle issues with my left ankle, and during that practice, like before the practice even started, playing a little pickup run, and I rolled my ankle pretty bad on concrete, and it kind of like it put me down, like, because I was really hoping to go towards the playoffs and dominate. But yeah, I had gone to the hospital, found out it's a really bad sprain, and I shouldn't have been on it for like a month or something like that. And that night, I was in my bedroom and I just started praying to God to heal my ankle and help me so I can help my team win it. And the next day, I woke up, ankle pain gone. I could walk on it normally,
That's
and it
awesome.
was it was a very
Praise
surreal
God, bro.
experience for me.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
you know,
Come on.
we went into the playoffs and took it home.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it,
That,
bro. Come on.
man. It's the
Come
God
on.
we serve, y'all.
That's
Hmm.
it. I love it, man. I love that's what this is all about. Like
Hmm.
you get to see like the testimony of Jesus and how he's glorified
Mm,
just through a moment like this in a situation like this, but then it's put on a stage like in basketball where now everyone else around can see how
Hmm.
good
mm,
our God is
mm,
from a moment like that. Like that is incredible, man. And
Hmm.
I'm just excited for you. I'm excited for the story that God's writing in your life personally beyond this game. As you know, you're coming to the end of your career too. And it's exciting to see it, man. And we're in your corner, bro. We're praying for you, obviously. I'm going to move into the next question here for you, which is what makes this final season feel different for you? You're moving into your final season here, and what makes it feel different for you?
Just that I've been with the CYBL for I think what almost 2 years now, and
Mm-hmm.
they've been you guys have been like a big part of my life in shaping who I am now and who I'm going to be. So for me, being my last season and not being able to play anymore after the season, it's kind of, I wouldn't say a pain, but like it's a little disappointing that that I have to leave, but it's all a part of the plan, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Hmm.
feel like it's going to be a good season considering all the talent coming in,
Oh yeah.
all the teams that are formed, chemistry, all that. I feel like it's going to be a really good season.
Yeah,
Hmm.
man. Regardless of the outcome, I know like your legacy is cemented in my
Hmm.
Hmm.
mind. But like even beyond that, man, outside of basketball, like this is
Hmm.
amazing because this all I'm like even just hearing you say how it's shaped you uh to this point, like now you get to go from here with the impact that
Hmm.
this has made in your life,
Hmm.
and you get to have an opportunity to have God use you to make an impact
Hmm.
as you become an adult. And that is also a beautiful part of the story, man. So,
Yeah.
the next question here for you is you faced many of these players that you're seeing in the OCC. Who should fans be keeping an eye out for?
Well, I feel like we've named already like most of them, but Braden's fairly new to
Mhm.
the big stage. Obviously, he won the championship, but it's his first season, so you never know. He might the pressure might get to him, whatever happens with that. But definitely Ashton, he's hungry for it, man. He hasn't won a chip yet. He's looking for that redemption against the strikers, trying to
Hmm.
get that chip. But yeah, definitely those two are my top, two to
Hmm.
take it out for their team.
That's good. That's good. All right. Two more questions for you here. Second last one is what legacy do you want to leave for the next generation of CYBL players? It's a big question.
That's a hard one actually, because like, I was consistent throughout my whole, I guess, CYBL career, like consistent numbers or and whatever. But my brothers are planning to join the league. I already have one in the league, but I
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
little brother. He's only 11, but I hope he can
Hmm.
come in and do the same thing I did and kind of carry on my like my legacy, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But definitely everybody else, like, they gotta have confidence, man. Like, if you wanna, be good, you have to, have confidence in your shot, confidence in your skill to, bring a team up or, lead a team, whatever.
That's great. That's great. Final question. This is going to be the fire round. So I'm just going to just shoot just some quick things. Give me some quick answers. First thing is fun teammate moment. Tell me a fun moment you had with a teammate.
During our first run, my teammate Josh, he had like a crazy game-winning layup with like
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
5 seconds left. It was nuts. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite teammate moment.
Yeah, that was a big moment, man. That was a big one for sure. What's the hardest team that you've had to play against?
Hardest team. I always struggle with the Warriors, but the hardest team offensively and defensively has always been the Flames. They've always had so many key like pieces. You got Nathan, you can't leave him open like at all,
Mm-hmm.
like no space. And then, this past 2 seasons, they've had like Kyson and, all their key shooters and defenders, right? Like they're all very good. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely the Flames have been my hardest, matchup.
That's big. And so last thing, in one word, how would you describe your CYBL journey?
I wouldn't say great, but like just consistent. Just one word, consistent. Because like if you look over the seasons,
Mm-hmm.
we've always been a winning team besides this season, but we kind of struggled a little bit. We didn't have some of our key players that we've had
Yeah.
from last seasons, but yeah, you definitely look at the numbers, the wins,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or even the accolades, like the trophiston, I would say.
I'm sure you got a whole wall, man. I'm sure you got a whole
Yeah, I
wall.
do.
So, with that being said, here I want to move into just bonus, and then we're gonna go final thoughts here. And we're gonna end the pod. Um, First thing is I want to ask Adriel, Coach Allen, share their favorite moment watching or playing with Aidan. Obviously, you've been Adriel, you've been at the playoffs. You saw that championship run that he had. So I want you can share with me first some of your favorite moments.
I think one of my favorite moments was when I was there for that championship run. We went into the locker room and Coach Allen was just talking and trying to give the boys some feedback and encouragement to continue the game, right, in their huddles.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I was so kind of like surprised by how well everyone took it. And by the end of that, everyone was so encouraged and ready to go. Like even by the end, the chance that they did was so powerful. I'm like, yo, this is crazy, right? I also think that another one of my favorite moments was when the Coach Allen would give his thoughts to the team, but then Aiden itself would step in as a leader and say, "Okay, I think we should do this, and that," and then everyone would just listen and key into like what he was saying, and when they implemented it, it worked out. So for me, I was like, "Wow, that just shows leadership in that moment, right? And the trust between everyone in that team." So, yeah, those are one of my best moments there, 100%.
That's so good. That's so good. I'll share mine because I think Alan had to step for a second. So I'm gonna share my greatest moment watching you, man. I think was it's actually crazy because I've seen you from the beginning to now. So
Mhm.
for me, what I would say my greatest moment in watching you play um, is just seeing. I think the development. I think it's weird because I can't say one moment, but I would say it was the development of your leadership, man. Your leadership would be for me what I've seen that has developed and the great and for me what was great was to see you in that next season when you even though you left my team, but to see you win that championship, that first one, that was special to me to watch you
Mhm.
do that and that whole run, man. I think that set up your career. After that run that you had, your career just it skyrocketed. It just took a
Yeah.
whole other level. It took a whole other turn. That you were putting up monstrous numbers that we hadn't seen before, and even
Yeah.
now hold the record for the most points scored in a CYBL game. So that
Hmm.
was impressive, man. Um, that being said, here final thoughts going into the OC. One thing, I mean, let's just talk about our bold predictions of where each team's gonna land. First, second, third, and fourth in the OCC. Aidan, you start.
First, I'll stick with the Warriors. I'm gonna say Strikers as second, just because I want to see that Warriors Strikers finals again.
Rematch?
See if the Warriors get the redemption,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll go Royals and then Sharks probably.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Wow. They got the champions of the East coming
There
forth.
might be a little bit of bias, but
Just a
Yeah,
little,
yeah.
just a little.
It's all good. We're all gonna have a little bias here. Uh, Adriel,
I
what's
think
yours, man? What's your take?
like this entire pod, like what I've been hearing is that the Warriors and Strikers. I mean, to be fair, they are the more established team. They've been around longer, which is fair. And so I think as long as um, the Kingston CYBL, the teams, the Sharks and the Royals, as long as we play our game and dictate where the game goes, I think that, and hopefully, I mean, I might be a little bit biased, but I'd say the Sharks first and
Wow.
the Royals second, bro. Because that would be insane. Wait, let's talk about it for a second. That would be insane. Imagine CYBL Kingston just starting out first season.
Wow.
And they take out the Giants. Come on,
that would be wild. That is a hot take, my friend.
That is a hot take, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll stick to it for now.
Yeah. I feel like Coach Allen, if he was here, he'd be flabbergasted right now with with that take.
It's only crazy until it happens.
It's true. It is true. We've seen crazy things happen, so you never know. I mean, think about the fact when you saw the Angels, take out last season. You saw the Angels take out the Flames in order to make the playoffs. That was pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen crazy things happen. Anything can happen, guys. Anything can happen. That's the beauty of one game. You know what I mean? So for me, my take is going to be, obviously I got to put my Royals up there. Number one, Royals on top. I think we could do it, man. I think I look at the fact that, I got Caleb at my center. I've got David also, and he could also, he's a big boy. He get in that paint. Mm-hmm. And he's another big man. We didn't even talk about David, but David can grab those boards for me too. Then you got Adrian, he's like perimeter,
exactly,
defender. Like, this guy is so scrappy. He doesn't care. He stays in front of any player, and I'm just empowering him. Right? And you've got what do we call it? Isaac now, who's on our squad, who literally was one of the MVP candidates. Now he's integrating into our team, and he's just, man, he could do a lot of things. He could grab rebounds. He could drive the basket. He could play defense. Like, he's got the whole thing. And then, man, for my other pieces there, like, I got Jesse. Oh, man, he brings that team spirit, team heart, and just lifts everybody up. I love it. I love watching him. Giovanni can shoot. People don't know. He got that. He got that three a lot. He got that three a lot. So we'll have to see what he can bring to the table in this one. And obviously, Caleb, I think I've mentioned him already, but like Felipe, he's another one we can't forget about. My point guard. He's also like our second point guard. He can also shoot too. People don't know. So it's gonna be good. So I'm gonna say Ross first. Then I'm gonna say Warriors second. I think the Warriors will take out the Sharks. I do think so. I think it will happen. I'm gonna say Strikers third. I'm gonna say Sharks fourth. That is my takeaway. Now, I might just be putting fuel to a fire here, but hey, I gotta be honest. With what I feel, So, but guys, thank you so much for joining the CYBL pod today. And I'd like to thank all of you that have been watching us today. This has been fun. It's been exciting. We're excited, guys, and we hope you are too. We just encourage you, guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram. And if you cannot come to the game, it's at Canada Christian College at 5 o'clock. If you can't come, join us online, watch the live stream. It's going to be hype. It's going to be an experience to remember. Mm-hmm. You do not want to miss it. So anyways, guys, take care. God bless. Remember, guys, at the end of the day, what matters, we put God first above everything else. Man. And he brings everything else into place in our lives. All right. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah.